Is dropshipping profitable in 2026, or does it just look that way online? Instead of debating opinions, let's look at the reality. Things change the second a store moves past the screenshots and starts taking real orders. But before we even ask if it's profitable, we have to ask a different question. Why is everyone on the internet selling this so hard? Of course, the answer is pretty simple. For a lot of these experts, the money isn't in the store, it's in the dream. Think about it, most of these YouTube channels live on ad revenue. A few 100,000 views is a guaranteed paycheck whether they are running a business or not. Then obviously, you've got the courses. These bring in massive revenue. And let's be honest, selling a digital course is a lot more easier to scale than managing a physical supply chain every single day. When you add it all up, the ads, the courses, the sponsorships, talking about the business is just more predictable and often more profitable than actually running it. Now, the reason I'm telling you this is simple. The people giving you all that hype, the ones making it look easy, they are already earning. But if you are just starting out, you deserve to know everything. More importantly, you need that mindset that there will be challenges. That's why I want you to be able to make better decisions so you don't feel lost when the reality doesn't match the perfect version you see on the internet. Now, once you move past the dashboard, the first real reality has nothing to do with marketing. It's about the control, or more accurately, the lack of it. You see, in most of these setups, you don't actually control the product. You don't control the manufacturing, the packaging, or the fulfillment. Of course, all of that sits with a supplier, usually halfway across the world. That means your entire business depends on someone else doing their job correctly every single day. If they run out of stock or decide to change their pricing, you're the one who takes the hit, not them. Think about it from the customer side. They didn't buy from a factory, they bought from you. Your logo is on the side. Your name is on their credit card statement. So when things go wrong, you're the one who has to answer for it. And since you don't control the logistics, there's often very little you can do in real time. As you can imagine, that is a massive structural risk and it's built right into the model. The next reality check hits the second you start getting orders, and that's delivery time. See, in a lot of these setups, especially with overseas suppliers, we aren't measuring shipping in days. We are measuring it in weeks, 10 days, 15 days, sometimes even longer. And of course, the real problem isn't just the wait, it's the mismatch. Think about it. Your customers have been trained by Amazon and Walmart. They expect things now. So when a package doesn't move for 5 days, the emails start hitting your inbox. Where is my order? Is this a real business? Why hasn't my tracking updated? As you know, every day of silence just creates more friction. Even if the product eventually shows up, the experience already feels broken, and from your side, you're stuck. You can reply to the emails, sure, but you can't actually speed up a cargo ship. This is exactly where things get messy. This is where refunds start overlapping with delivery, and by the time the product actually reaches their door, you've often already lost the payment to a chargeback. There's another layer most people completely overlook in the beginning, and that is tariffs. See, when products cross borders, they don't just move freely, they move through rules. And in 2026, those rules have changed a lot. As you know, the old days of shipping cheap packages tax free are basically over. Customs is now looking at everything, and that means inspections can slow your orders down or just stop them entirely without any warning. But it's the tariffs that really hurt, depending on what you are selling. Import duties can suddenly pop up out of nowhere. Sometimes the cost is small, but other times it completely wipes out your profit on the sale. And the worst part is, you often don't find out until after the customer has already paid it. Now, there is a way around this. Instead of playing border roulette with every order, some stores have moved to US based logistics. They keep their products in domestic warehouses and ship from right there. As you can imagine, that changes everything. No more custom delays, no more tariff surprises. Orders move through the same networks your customers already trust, like UPS. Delivery becomes predictable, tracking is cleaner, and that whole customs headache basically disappears from the customer's experience. Now, here's the part where most people get caught off guard. It's the marketing math. It's one thing to make a sale, it's another thing to keep the profit. And in the business, the math doesn't usually break loudly, it breaks quietly. Think about it. You start running ads, and maybe you see some revenue coming in, but then you have the customer acquisition cost. Then you have the platform fees. Then, of course, you have the refunds and chargebacks, which we already talked about. When you add all of that up, your high margin product suddenly has a thin to zero profit margin. And look, this is where the real trap is. Most people think scaling is the answer. They think if I'm making a little bit of money now, I'll make a lot more if I just spend more on ads. But as you've probably guessed, scaling doesn't just increase your revenue, it magnifies every single weakness in your system. If your logistics are messy, scaling makes them a disaster. If your margins are thin, scaling makes you go broke. So instead of solving the problem, scaling just makes the quiet failure much louder. After hearing all of that, it's fair to wonder, why does anyone still do this? And that's where the other side of the picture comes in. Because dropshipping can be profitable, that's not a theory. It's actually happening. Even with all the headaches, the model offers one thing most businesses don't: speed. You can move from an idea to a live store fast. You don't have to manufacture products or buy thousands of dollars in inventory just to see if people even want what you're selling. That ability to test fast, that's the real hook. You launch, you watch what happens, and you adjust. You aren't stuck with a garage full of products that won't sell. And look, there are real stores out there doing $50,000 a month once their systems are dialed in. The ads are working, the orders are moving, the payments are clearing. Of course, it's not common, but it's real. And that's exactly why people are still drawn to it. So, when you break it all down, it really comes down to why you're looking at this in the first place. If you're here because it looks easy or because some guru told you it was low effort, honestly, you're going to be disappointed. But if you are willing to understand how the system actually works, if you can handle the pressure points and treat it like a real business, then it starts to make sense. Not as a shortcut, but as something you build, adjust, and improve over time. This applies to everything, not just dropshipping. Results don't come from hype, they come from consistency. So use YouTube as a starting point, but not your final blueprint. Do your own research, look at the numbers, the logistics, and the trade offs. Now that you have seen the reality, the only question left is, are you ready to build it?